Hello, everyone, and guess who? Welcome back. I'm glad that you decided to join us once again. I hope that you guys are all doing well, and I hope that you are continuing to enjoy our time together. I know I am. Just a reminder again, if you decide to do some of these projects with me, I would love to see some of your art. So feel free to take some pictures or send them to me. Pictures, I should say, probably in an email or somehow, some way. I'd love to be able to see some of what you guys are working on and doing, okay? Doesn't even have to be anything that we've done. It can be something of your own creation, okay? So we are back again, and I wanted to do something just a little bit different today in the sense that I know the other day I talked about doing some potential lessons based on the idea or the concept of perspective. And it does come into play a little bit here today, but I wanted to kind of, if you want to call it this, like kind of like hit the pause button on that. So I wanted to kind of do something just a little bit different today and then come back next week to some of the various projects based on the idea of perspective, right? And we talked about perspective being how you look at something or the point of view from which you see something, right? And that becomes the object or the subject matter that we want to create, right? Or draw on our paper. So it does have a little bit of that today in what we're going to do, but I decided to do something based on some things that Mrs. Williams and Mrs. Depard did with you in some of your other classes. I know one of the things that Mrs. Depard was doing was having our guys look for, shapes, right? Whether you go outside and you look around and you can identify some of the shapes, or maybe they're in your apartment or your homes, or just things that you even play with or use throughout the day. I know she was looking for you guys to be able to identify those shapes, right? So what are some of the shapes? Circles, squares, rectangles, triangles. We have diamond shapes, we have hearts, we have ovals, and a lot of those we've actually already done and we've incorporated into a lot of our artwork already, right? So if you want to say this is kind of a review, but it also just ties in with what Mrs. Depard was doing. And then one of the projects that I actually have two drawings today, and I'll explain that in a minute, is kind of, I know that several of you have also looked at some of the zoos live camera feeds, and you've looked at some of the animals and you've been able to watch them in their environments, right? And we've also talked about that. So I decided to do something kind of based on that, as well as based on like the animals you've been seeing, the shapes you've been identifying. Also, kind of one of the assignments that I believe Mrs. Williams had posted yesterday or today, right, about looking up in the sky and seeing some things that are up in our atmosphere, stars and the moon and various things like that. So I wanted to kind of hit the pause button, if you will, on the perspective idea, come back to that next week, but shift gears a little bit and do something and do a couple of drawings based on some of what you've been doing this week in your classes, okay? So it still ties into the line drawings we've been doing. It ties into the usage of those lines, right? And the various lines that we use, but it kind of focuses mostly on identifying the shapes and how we can take a shape and we can use that and mix it with other shapes and create something, right? A bigger picture or a composition. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute, but I'm also going to do something a little bit different. And I'm not going to show you the examples that I have because I want to jump right into creating this and showing you how to create this. And then as we go, maybe you can kind of begin to see how you can incorporate those shapes on your paper and arrange them in such a way that ultimately will allow you to create something that's a bigger picture of something else, right? So the first thing I thought we would do today is just practice a little bit, and then I will get to the examples or the projects that I had in mind for you. So you're going to need, once again, your blank piece of paper. a pencil with an eraser, and I thought we'd start off today, and again, we're going to kind of come back to the idea of perspective, so don't worry about that. I have other projects, trust me. I have lots of them, lots of good stuff for you. But I wanted to start off today just kind of reviewing and then practicing some of the basic shapes that you have either found, you see every day, and look at them from an art perspective, okay? There's that word again, perspective, how you see things, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw some basic shapes, maybe if you wanted to do the same thing, just to practice a little bit, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line. It's a series of straight lines, 4 to be exact, and you're already going to know what this shape is, right? That's a square, right? Okay, so we know that, all right? So let's practice another one, and I'm going to show you this one. Also, I know that you know what that is, right? A circle. And then we also have a triangle, which we've done a lot of drawings and projects with the triangle shape already, right? With our birds from the first time, and doing it upside down with the cone, the ice cream cone that we drew, and things like that. Okay, so we have, this is a heart, right? And there's that. And then we have other shapes too, but I'm just going to kind of stick with a few today. I don't even know if I'm going to be using the heart one per se, but I'm going to use probably the circles, the triangles, and then there's another shape that's kind of similar to a square, and you already probably know where I'm going with this. And what is this called? If I draw 2 of the lines a little bit longer and then join them at the bottom, what is that, right? So obviously a square. So this is a rectangle. Again, I know that you know this. If you want to practice drawing some of these, you can, okay? So that leads me into what we are going to do today. And like I said, I have 2. And this is, I'm not going to get so hung up on how to color these, or, you know, whatever you want to do with them at the end. I can show you the examples that I have, but I'll do it at the end. It does incorporate the colors that we've used, right, and the studies that we've done there, but let's jump right into this, okay? So we've used those shapes, or we've practiced those shapes. The first thing I'm going to do on my paper is I'm going to draw that rectangle, right? And I'm going to sort of kind of draw it in the middle, and I'm going to create this rectangle. See, again, trying to do it with a straight line with one hand. Not the easiest, so bear with me if it looks a little off and what have you, okay? Okay, there we have it. There's our rectangle. So you're thinking, this could be any number of things, and you're right, and that's the point of this, okay? So we're going to be able to take some shapes, arrange them on our paper, and before you know it, it's going to create this really cool this image or picture or composition. We've got the bottom of our triangle. No, rectangle, hello. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down in these corners, and I'm going to just extend the lines out from the bottom like this, okay? Now I'm going to show you, we're actually going to connect this line here to here and this line here to here. So as I go, I want you to be thinking about maybe what you think this might become, right? And again, at the end, I can show you the colored example that I have. I didn't spend too much time coloring that in. It was really about kind of the process, right? Doing this all together. So if you connect this line to this, it's actually going to create a triangle, okay? It's just turned on its side maybe a little bit. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do the same to this side. I'm going to come up like this, okay? This might look a little bit, I want to kind of get them sort of a little bit on the even side, and it's okay. You know, I don't want you to stress out about that. All right. So what do you think now? Any clues, any thoughts? All right, now I'm going to come to the top of this, and I'm going to create a very large triangle at the very top of my rectangle, except I'm going to use these 2 corners, but I'm also going to I'm going to find the center of this line right here. I'm just going to kind of draw an imaginary line up, and I'm going to put a little dot right up at the top, if you can see that. Now I'm going to create the triangle, but I already have the base of my triangle created, okay? So I'm going to maybe kind of come and I'm going to connect it like that. All right, this looks like an object that you might get in and go up high. What do you think? All right, I'm going to draw another shape here. Ready? This is pretty basic, right? I mean, it is, but some of the other drawings that we have done have been a little more detailed, and that's okay, right? This is just a way to show you how you can create shapes and put them on your paper and arrange them in such a way that will allow you to create a really cool drawing. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go like this. And there you go, another circle. Now within that circle, I might make a few smaller circles, maybe a couple bigger ones. All right. What do you think that looks like? Maybe the moon? Look at that. Is that a rocket ship? Sure is. All right. We created a really cool rocket ship with using, and this is the setting, right? Because if there's a moon over here, then we know that rockets are in the sky, right? So you can even color the background blue if you want. You can do this on a piece of blue construction paper. Now down here, I am going to show you how to do the flames. This is the only thing that's not necessarily a shape per se, but it does add some fun to our picture. But I mostly wanted to focus on how you can create this rocket ship, right, using these, the way we put different shapes together on the page. Now, the flames for the bottom, it kind of adds to it. They're not necessarily a shape per se, but they are the usage of straight lines, right? So we are going to use a series of straight lines. This can be done any way you want. I'm just going to show you how I did it, and I'm going to show you that in my example in just a few minutes. So I'm going to use this little point right here, and I'm going to use this other point right here. Now I'm going to come down. I'm going to make some kind of lines that almost look like lightning bolts, right? So watch what I'm going to do here. They can be irregular, and I'm going to kind of bring them down. Look at that, okay? Same over here. All right, so it kind of gives the illusion or the impression of some flames. Now I did a couple of these, and okay, I did 3 actually. All right, and before you know it, there you have your rocket ship. So I'm going to flip back. I'm going to show you my example. But again, this is purely, I didn't spend a ton of time coloring it. You can decorate it any way you want. Okay, so there you have it. There's our rocket ship. Just using rectangles, circles, and triangles, and then our little moon in the sky, right? And then this was just, the flames were just a little something different, okay? All right. How you color it, entirely up to you today. This is all about kind of the technique and the process. So I'm going to do another one, and it's going to use some simple shapes. Remember we talked about those animals that we've been watching on the live cams for the zoos? All right, get another piece of blank paper. I'm going to show you how to create an animal, well, kind of the head of an animal, if you will, using shapes and straight lines. So this one, we're going to incorporate some circles and some rectangles and a triangle. But this is, and some straight lines at the end. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So we're going to draw another rectangle, and this one we're going to be drawing just as a little bit larger than the rectangle that we created for the rocket ship, okay? And what I mean by that is we're going to have it kind of take up a little more space on our page. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, okay? I think it was probably half that size for the rocket ship. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to draw a straight line down. I'll stop right there. I'm going to bring another straight line down. Stop. And then I'm going to connect them. Okay, so we have just a little bit larger rectangle on our page. Now, I'm going to use this line at the top. And I'm going to come in, right about here. I'm going to make 2 dots right there, okay? So I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to make a little bit of a larger or a longer, skinnier rectangle within this rectangle. Okay. I can come up and I can erase those dots if you want, if it's just, you know, just kind of gives you a marker for your positioning, so to speak. Okay. Think about it. What do you think? You see anything yet? If not, no worries. Watch what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to use this bottom line now. We're going to come down here and put a dot kind of in the middle of this line, but below. We're going to do an upside down triangle. Okay. And these are just fun ways to draw animals. Obviously, there's many different ways, but this is just a way that, you know, might be simplified and usage of straight lines and shapes for you, okay? All right, now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to use these corners as kind of markers. You might need your eraser on this depending on how you want to draw them. You can draw a circle in this corner over here and then erase this little corner. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll do two. I'll do one that goes like this. Now you see how it kind of crosses over that little section of that triangle, or the little corner right there. I want you to be able to go in and erase that. Okay, or you can come over and, well, you could just, you know, you could put the ear behind. It's going to be an ear. You could put it behind like that if you want, or if you want to continue this, you can go like this and like this. So yes, I kind of gave it away, huh? Those are supposed to be ears. Any guesses? Any guesses? What do you think? All right, we're going to do two more circles. We're going to jump down. We're going to put these circles right in the middle, right across from each other. Just like that. Now at this point, it could be a few different kinds of animals, and that's okay, all right? It's really okay. This is just an idea for you to kind of go with and explore. I'm going to do my eyes that I like. So I'm going to kind of come in here and do upside down half circles, right? Like this. Any ideas what you think? A bear? Could be, right? All right, now let's come down here. I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to do this kind of shape. And if you want, you can actually do some of these, right? All right, any ideas yet? Right here is where I'm going to stop with the pencil drawing. And this is where maybe the coloring does come into play a little bit. But right now we have the basis of the face of an animal. And it can be any animal that you would like to kind of explore. I'm going to show you my example, what I turned it into. Okay, because by using the straight lines with my colored pencils, I created some color and I created the usage of, I used those lines, right, to create my animal. And let me show you what it is. Let me show you my example, okay? And again, I've done two tonight just to kind of give you an idea and also to kind of support what Mrs. Depard and Mrs. Williams were doing in your classes, okay? Let me flip. Look at that. What about a lion, right? So there you have it. This could be his long nose it runs down the center of his face, and his little, and I didn't even put his whiskers in there, so I can even add those in, right? Okay. And there you go. Perfect. All right. So again, you have your animal, right? You've got your little rocket ship, okay? These are created with simple lines and putting those lines together to create your shapes. Then taking those shapes and putting them on your paper and arranging them in such a way that allowed us to be able to explore some new art techniques, right? But again, coloring them and using those lines, right, are all things that we've done before. Now, very briefly, we can talk a little bit about perspective, right? And let's face it, this would be kind of scary, right, if we had the line this close to us, right? So the perspective is the lion's face is right in front of my face. So, but it's just an idea, right, of to show you how to be able to do some of those things. And then this, I'd probably have to be floating in space, right? So anyway, so we're going to get back to the talk or the ideas of perspective the next time we're together. So until then, oh, I did a little kitty cat on the fence. I forgot I had done this, to be honest with you. So those are just, I didn't even color it in. All right. So these are just basic line drawings as well. Shapes, triangles, right? You can do that if you'd like. It would be, the background would be colored in dark. Okay. Cat sitting on a fence. You can do that as well. But for now, I'll let you go, and you can practice drawing your shapes and figure out something you'd like to use these shapes with. Create something of your own. And again, take pictures. I can't wait to see them. So with that said, I will be back again soon. I'm not sure if tomorrow when you see this will be Friday or Monday or whatever the day is, but regardless, it's time for me to wrap it up, let you go. Always be creative. Know that you're missed, and get out and enjoy the sunshine when it comes out. And make good choices. Stay healthy. And don't forget to always, always, always wash your hands lots and lots of times, okay? Very, very important. So that's all part of making good choices and staying healthy. So have a great weekend or week, depending on when you see this, and I will be back soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.